before you build a company, you should always build a personal brand. Building company is difficult. You should always build a personal brand. Personal brand is much easier. So build a personal brand first. So for those entrepreneurs who are planning to start up, maybe you're still in corporate, or maybe you're still studying, or maybe you're in between jobs and you're not sure, start your personal brand first. Find out what you're passionate about. Talk about it. Start your personal brand, and once you see traction from there, then ask your audience, hey, what problems are you facing? And then only cater the solution to the problems.
Welcome to the iSearch podcast. Today we have Dr. Lim, the co-founder of Ventamin, on the show. So in this episode, we'll talk about how to build and scale a DTC brand, as well as business and also growth lessons from Ventamin. So welcome to the show, Dr. Lim.
Hi, thanks for having me, Ben.
All right, so let's begin. So what inspired you to start Ventamin?
I always found that taking supplements has always been a chore. Because imagine this, every time you want to take a supplement, you walk into a drugstore and you see there's like 1,000,001 supplements on a shelf. And I will tell you the most common is like vitamin C, vitamin B, omega-3. And most of the time, most people don't actually know what they actually do. The goal for most people when they want to take vitamins is, I want to be healthy. Right, that's actually the most important goal. I just want to be healthy. And when they walk into a drugstore or a pharmacy, they realize that there is so many choices and they are not sure what to make. And naturally, you would then ask people, which one should I take? And all these people and all these salespeople in the pharmacy and drugstore, they are incentivized by commission to push certain products. So they might not be right for you. It might be great for the commission, but not be right for you. So I found that because it's difficult for most people to understand, I ask people what are the problems, when sourcing for the right vitamins and the right supplements for you. And most of the time, they said, we're not sure whether it actually works. We're not sure what are the outcome I'm seeking for when I start taking these vitamins. Hence is why I started Ventamin, which is an outcome-driven nutritional startup. So what I mean by outcome driven, it means that in order for you to understand what you want, what you need to tell me what outcome you want. So I give you an example. Some people come to me and say, hey, I want to have better looking skin. So then that is the outcome that you want. Now, you are unsure when you walk into a drugstore what supplements to take for better looking skin. So for Ventamin, we personalize and craft out a particular supplement for the consumers, and it has all the vitamins and minerals necessary for a healthy looking skin. So it's outcome driven. So our products, and so far we have 2 products. The first one is called Light Up to brighten your skin. Second one is called Clear It for acne. So these are outcome driven. So when you take Light Up, the outcome is you're going to get brighter skin. When you take Clear It, your outcome is your acne is going to be gone. So it makes it much easier for consumers to understand, hey, when I take this is the outcome that will happen at the end of my journey. Yeah, so that actually inspired me to start Ventamin, and we've done it for the past 10 months, and we are loving the journey.
Okay. So I think one thing that I'm curious is how did you validate this idea before launching? Especially on differentiating Ventamin in this, a very competitive beauty and also wellness market.
That's an extremely good question. So before building any businesses, you always need to validate the idea, whether anyone's willing to pay for it. Now, for me, I've done multiple businesses and multiple startups in the past. I've gone through the pain of starting a business without understanding whether there's a market for it. So now I have everything into a formula. So before we start anything, before we even produce a single product or a single service, we always want to ask people, what is the main problem that you're actually facing? So I'm lucky because I managed to build up a personal brand with about 2.5 million followers on social media. So it's easy for me to reach out to these 2.5 million people and say, hey, what is the biggest issue that you're facing? And because I've been in dermatology for more than 10 years, what is the biggest issue you're facing for your skin? And then the question would be, okay, if I would give you 2 things, do you want brighter skin or you want more hydrated skin? It's like A/B testing. So people will vote, say, I want a brighter skin. Okay, now then I will A/B test again. Do you want a brighter skin or do you want lesser wrinkles? Then a lot of people say, hey, I still want brighter skin. So the brighter skin. So we did this questionnaire a couple of times, right? Over about, I think about 100 to 200 people actually replied, and we know that majority, 80% of people want brighter skin. Okay, now that we know that this is the problem that people are facing, now we want to validate whether there's actually a real problem or not. So we actually set up a Google form to set up a waiting list. So we asked everyone, hey, I'm going to produce a product for brighter skin because this is what all of you want. But I want to understand in detail, what do you really want? So this is like market research. So before producing a single product, we are doing market research first. So there's a Google form link. So what we ask is, we ask 3 questions. We ask, number 1, what is the major issue with you at the moment and what do you wish to improve? So a lot of people type in and then we have a look. Second question we always ask is, if my product is not in the market, what solutions are you going to look for? Means I want to know who are already in the market and what solutions are there in the market at the moment. So that this actually allows me to analyze my competition or analyze whether really there's no solution in the market for this particular problem. And then the third of all is, are you willing to buy the product when it's out? So that's the 3 questions I typically ask. And from there, I understand, hey, these are the people, so these are the problems that they're facing, and it allows me to craft a solution for them. These are my competitors. Then easier for me to go and check out on my competitors and do research. And then end of the day, I know who are willing to pay for it. Then next one comes the pricing. Because we wanted a global business from day one, so we need to create a global product with a global pricing. So we asked again, right? Then we sent them. So we collected all their emails. Again, we sent them another email and say, hey, I want to understand pricing, right? I want to understand how much are you willing to pay for the product or service. But I don't ask that directly lah. So I asked 4 questions. So this is called the Van Western-Top pricing model. Now it's currently the most accurate pricing model, whereby you ask 4 main questions. The first is, at what price is my product or service so cheap that you question its quality? Question number 2 is, at what price is my product or service a bargain or affordable for you? The third question we ask is, at what price is my product or service considered as expensive for you, but you still be able to use it or buy it when you save the money? And the fourth question is, at what price is it too expensive for you that you would never ever think about it? Now, with these 4 questions, you ask people, you collect data, and you plot a graph. And then what you notice is there is a sweet spot, right? There is a price range. And you always price your product within that particular price range. So you know, after giving discounts, that what is the lowest, the lowest cutoff point, and without discounts, what is the highest cutoff point. So you don't accidentally underprice your product, or you don't accidentally overprice your product. You're pricing your product how the market sees it. So by having all this, now we know this is the problem that everyone's facing. Now let's create a solution. And when we created our first product, we reach out to these people on the waiting list and say, hey, the product is now out. You guys are the first people who are able to buy it. And within the first day, we managed to launch, and I think we shipped to about 11 different countries on day 1 itself.
Wow, interesting. For someone starting out, like, how many waiting lists should they, like, minimum that they should get to, like, truly validate their idea?
I would say the more the merrier. However, I think a wait list of roughly about 20 to 30 people is best. Now, I think it really depends on the price of your product. Example, if the price of a product is only, let's say, 100 ringgit, and you only have 20 people on the waiting list, and let's assume only half of them actually convert, because waiting list does not equal 100% conversion. So only part of them will actually convert. Let's say 50% convert, and that's actually a very high number already. So if you're priced at 100 ringgit, 20 people, so 20 people on the waiting list, so only 10 will convert. So basically, when you launch, you only sell about 1,000 ringgit, right? So basically, for a product that's 100 ringgit, you need a larger waiting list, because you won't be able to survive on $1,000 bucks. But let's say your product is $5,000, all right, and you have 10 people on the waiting list, and you have half would convert. So that actually tells you that, hey, when this half of the people convert, right, within my first month, this is the revenue which I'm really going to get. So that tells you at what size the waiting list has to be. So if your product is cheaper, you need a larger waiting list. Your product is more expensive, you just need a very, very small waiting list. I would say if you have a good product, waiting list anywhere between 100 people to about 1,000 people would be great. Like for us, our first product, right before we launched, we had a waiting list of 1,500 people on the waiting list. So that we know that these are the people, if I convert, I'll be able to convert part of them. If I can't convert all of them on day one, at least I already have the emails and their contact numbers. I can always reach back out to them from time to time to see whether they're still interested.
Right. So for someone who is like just starting out and they don't have like a personal brand, how can they like get started to build this waiting list?
I think before you build a company, you should always build a personal brand. Again, I repeat again now, before you build a company, building company is difficult. You should always build a personal brand. Personal brand is much easier. So build a personal brand first. So for those entrepreneurs who are planning to start up, maybe you're still in corporate, or maybe you're still studying, or maybe you're in between jobs and you're not sure, start your personal brand first. Find out what you're passionate about, talk about it. Start your personal brand, and once you see traction from there, then ask your audience, hey, what problems are you facing? And then only cater the solution to the problems. Myself, as an entrepreneur, I made a mistake a long time ago, whereby I thought that there's a particular problem in the market because I faced the problem. Then I created the solution for myself. Then I realized actually nobody actually wanted the solution because I was the only one facing the problem. So always make sure you find the problem first, then only create the solution. Now, but what happens if, let's say, you already have a company and can you actually do a personal brand? Then yeah, you could always launch a personal brand, right? Because that makes less friction for people to buy and subscribe. Because end of the day, people don't buy from companies, people buy from people. And let's say you really have no clue in how to build a personal brand and you really want to do a waiting list. Yep. What you do is you need to do a little bit of paid ads. So you do a paid ad and then you ask people questions like, hey, are you facing this problem? And I have a solution for you. But you don't tell them the solution first. You put a Google form and you link them to the Google form. So basically when they click on your ad, they fill in the Google form. These are the people on your waiting list. Unfortunately, you need to pay for the waiting list. It means that you need to do a little bit of meta ads or Google ads to get people onto your wait list. And let's say you've spent a couple $100 or $1,000 and nobody comes to your wait list. That means that there's no business to be built, and you have probably saved some time and a lot of heartache as well. But suddenly if you realize, hey, cost per click is very cheap, it means, hey, a lot of people are just signing up. Then you have a gold mine. It's easy for you to then ask these people, tailor a solution for them and create a business out of it.
I mean, like what you say, it's better to like spend few hundred ringgit to like test it out rather than like build on your own for like so many months or years, and then in the end you find out that nobody wants it.
Correct. And this is actually one of the pain points that a lot of entrepreneurs go through, whereby you're so invested in your own business, you realize when you have no clients or you have no customers, then you're stuck because you've invested so much time and money. So, just invest a couple hundred to 1,000 ringgit, just invest a little bit into a wait list. That itself will validate whether it's a business worth your time and your investment.
Okay, great. So the next one is, what are the biggest challenges in bringing Ventamin to the market? Now that you have already validated the problem, now what are the challenges to bring it to the market?
Bringing to market is fairly easy because we purposefully found a business whereby regulations is not very stringent and not very tight. So in the nutritional space, because it is not considered as medication, right? The certification or the approval process is actually very smooth and it's very, very easy. And we always make sure that we want to create something whereby it's easy for us to register the product with the health authorities. I give an example. Our product is in sachet form, powder form.
Yep.
Now, registration for that in Malaysia, it takes anywhere between 1 month to about maybe 6 weeks, right? 4 to 6 weeks. Now, however, the same formula, if it's packed in a capsule, takes anywhere between 6 months to 12 months. So hence is why I went with the route of less resistance. So something that can, within 4 to 6 weeks, I get approval already. So then it makes more sense for me to just create a sachet form in powder form rather than make a capsule form, which would which I need to wait close to almost an entire year before I can even launch the product.
Yep.
Yeah. So understanding the certification and which health authorities to register product, I think that was the biggest challenge, but it wasn't too big of a hurdle because we could always ask people, and most people would actually help us out.
But that's for Malaysia, but because like what you say, you're launching to like globally, right? So each of the country will have their own regulation.
That's right. So what we did was we based it off the US regulation, which is the FDA, because most countries, their framework around nutrition is actually based on the FDA, which is based on US. So as long as we comply with the US standards, we actually adhere to most of the country standards or all around the world. So it's much easier for us. So when we built our business and our first product, right, we already had US in mind. We say, hey, you know what? Okay. Let's comply with the standard that most people comply with, which is the US FDA standard. Now, once we comply with that, everything else is actually very easy. And it is, because once we have the FDA certificate, we could show it to all the other countries, say, hey, we are FDA certified. And then the registration process is actually much smoother.
Okay. So what were the key marketing strategies that have helped Ventamin to get traction?
So we typically split into two. One is organic marketing, social media organic marketing. And the second is performance marketing. So performance marketing is like paid ads. Meta ads. We never do paid ads first. When we first launched the first 2 months, we did not do a single paid ad. Everything was purely organic. So based on my own personal brand, based on the wait list, we managed to ship a lot of orders out. On top of that, we engage KOLs, key opinion leaders. We engage a little bit of influencers, product seeding to them to drive organic traffic to us. Now, after 2 months, once we found out which social media content worked, whether it's from our influencers, whether it's from our own in-house, then we hand it up to our performance marketing team. So they are the ones who then take all the high-performing organic media and then run it as ads. And that allowed us to reduce our customer acquisition costs tremendously. Our ROAS was like it's amazing. So because of that, we could run a lot of different ads at the same time because our in-house team could create more organic posts. So we create anywhere between 80 to 100 organic posts every month. And then out of that, roughly about 15 to 20%, the top performing ones, are converted to ads. So if you have a look at our Facebook ad library, right, we have easily 20 to 30 ads running at the moment. And ROAS is good. ROAS is anywhere between 4 to 5. So whatever money we make, we reinvest and then we grow the business from there. Yeah. So but it's a two-pronged thing whereby it's number one is organic. Then from organic, then we convert into performance marketing.
Okay. Interesting strategy. So basically, to sum it up, you test with organic, you amplify with ads.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So which because there's a lot of social media platforms, which is the one that works the best for you?
So because we are doing global, so the best is still Facebook, Instagram. So Facebook, Instagram is still our biggest social media which we use, and we only purely use meta ads. We don't actually do any Google keyword advertising. We do TikTok as well, but TikTok is actually just to repost our Instagram and our Facebook videos. We also do a little bit of the Chinese 小红书 as well. We translate our organic materials into Chinese, and at the same time YouTube Shorts. All right, because since the materials are already there, we just repost to YouTube Shorts. So we are doing that. Then on top of that, for marketplaces, like in Malaysia, we are in Shopee and Lazada. We do a little bit of Shopee ads and Lazada ads. So currently we are trying to learn about Amazon ads because we just got into Amazon in US. So we are still trying to learn about that, but hopefully that works out well for us as well.
Because if it's a global business, then you have to test out Amazon ads as well.
That's right.
Okay, great. So what is your number one advice that you would give to someone that is like starting an e-commerce or DTC brand from scratch?
All right. So before you even create your first product or before you even create your first service, always find out whether people are willing to pay for your solution for their problems. Because end of the day, people pay other people to solve their problems. So a wait list is great. But if let's say you have no idea about how to do wait lists, you can then do a little bit of meta ads, because end of the day, most DTC companies that I know do a lot of meta ads. So understand a little bit of meta ads. You don't have to be an expert in it. Understand a little bit. You can always look for resources online. We learned it from YouTube by ourselves. I think we learned it like in 2019 for one of our private businesses. So we did everything in-house. We actually hired our own photographer and our own videographer guys as well. Now, then once you know the problem already, then you can then create your solution. But when you create your solution, don't invest too much. All right, test it out. In the startup world, people say build your MVP and then test it out. Most of the time, your first product is not going to be great. All right, test it out, get feedback. And once you get feedback, then you improve from there. Don't think that you're going to make a lot of money or get a lot of business within the first couple of months, because your first couple of months is always about testing and making sure you get the right product market fit. Then once you realize that there is traction coming in, organic traction, not paid traction. All right, a lot of companies mistaken performance ads like meta ads as organic traction, because it's not. Because once you stop paying meta, everything stops. So once you get organic traction coming in, then only amplify it with paid ads. So don't over-invest initially. Go slow. Time is your friend. And I think for anyone who's listening, I want you to think global from day one. So what we did in Ventamin was we thought global from day one. It means from day one itself, we know that we want to ship all around the world. So we built that into our SOP and our infrastructure. We found couriers that could send all over the world. We found a website that could cater to different currencies. So anyone, let's say, if you're based in Japan, you will see our currency in yen. If you're based in the States, you see in US dollars. If you're based in Malaysia, you see in MYR. So we built that with just one website, and from there we could see which country was actually visiting us and which country was actually buying. Then from there, then it made it a lot easier for us to then invest in those countries. Example, we didn't know that US is going to be our third biggest market. We thought that it will be number 5 and number 6. That's what we projected. We thought that majority would be from Southeast Asian countries. But US came at number 3. So that allows us to say, hey, now let's invest resources into Amazon, because that's where most Americans buy their products. So that's why we have set up an Amazon account, and we are licensing with Amazon US as well to actually send out products there. So my advice is, if you're doing a DTC company, especially e-commerce, think global, because you'll be surprised most of the time your solution can solve a global problem. So don't think small. Don't think, hey, just start in my country first. No, if you try and validate, let's say globally there are people that actually want your product, start shipping globally from day one itself.
And in terms of the product, like how many iterations do you do to finally come up with the two products that you mentioned?
We actually did our own internal R&D. It means that when we were creating the products, we had family and friends to test the products first. Then we will get feedback from them. Okay. Then after that, we will get our family and friends to actually introduce their family and friends to test the product as well. So we actually went through about 6 months of R&D to make sure everything works. Make sure the product is effective, it really solves their problems. Make sure, because ours is a health supplement and it's a sachet powder form, whether it's palatable, tastes nice or not. And then we got a lot of feedback from there. and then we took our product. So we actually took our product many times before we actually launched. Because for our product, MOQ was very high, so we could not produce a small MOQ of like 100 boxes. Our first run was like 1,000 boxes really. So we had to make sure all these are correct before we actually launch the product. But even that says, after we launch a product, the product itself, we didn't change much, but the packaging, we actually shrunk it because we are shipping globally. So we want to cut down the volumetric rate. And then a lot of feedback from our clients is, hey, the box is nice. However, it's a little bit too bulky. Could you shrink it? So we shrunk the packaging by roughly about 30%.
Okay. What is like just now you mentioned that there's like a software or something to track, like if I come from Japan, I'll be able to see the pricing in JPY. If I come from US, I'll be able to see in USD. What is like that thing?
I just use Shopify. I think Shopify is
okay.
Yeah, it's the best website builder ever because Shopify is easy to customize. You do not require an expert to do it for you. You can actually do it by yourself. There are a lot of third-party apps that plug into Shopify. Shopify itself, if you're based in some countries like I think Singapore, Hong Kong, and the States, Shopify even have their own payment gateway system, which is ShopPay. Okay. So and then Shopify allows you to opt for international markets, so you can choose all the countries in the world, or you can even choose only specific countries that you want to ship to. So basically, it only shows currency in those countries. So my suggestion is Shopify. Shopify is the best.
Okay. Yeah, I think Shopify should sponsor you because you have about millions of followers already.
No, I think they have enough people using their services.
Yeah. Okay. So with AI being the trend now, how are you using AI in your business?
I love AI. So let me give you an example of an interview question that we have. So whenever we interview anyone that wants to join our team in Ventamin, we always ask them, do you use AI? And at least if you don't use AI, do you use ChatGPT? And if your answer is no, I don't use ChatGPT, I don't use AI, high likelihood we will not hire you. Because ChatGPT has been in the market for like 2 years really. It makes work a lot more efficient. And so if you are not ever curious about ChatGPT, all right, that means that you have no initiative to want to learn new stuff. So high likelihood we won't actually hire you. So then next question is, how do we utilize AI internally? So we use internally among our team we use Notion. So Notion has their own AI to actually help out. We also use ChatGPT Plus. So we pay, and then all our team members can actually use them. And currently, what we're looking at is we're actually looking at is there any way to utilize AI agents? And I think that in the next 6 to 12 months, right, AI agents would be the next big thing. All right, it will actually help you do a lot of mundane stuff like customer service, tracking parcels, making sure all your Excel sheets are updated. Because now you have to type in the process flow, but in the future, you just get an AI agent. You plug it into your into your computer, and while you're sleeping, it does all the work for you. So our team is actually looking out for any AI agents that they can actually incorporate. For our creative team, our videographers and our photographers, they are using Canva AI. They're using Midjourney as well. So they're actually utilizing all these AI tools to make their work a lot more efficient. And I think it's really key. I think any business that don't start to embrace AI will definitely be left behind.
Do you think this is true? Like AI will not replace humans, but AI will replace humans that don't know how to use AI?
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, I give you a statistic, right? Do you know 60% of the jobs that we have currently in the workforce was not available 80 years ago? Okay, I repeat, 60% of the work that like all your digital marketing, all your e-commerce and all your videographers and all this, did not exist 80 years ago. It means that the job market will always evolve. And now with AI, it's going to evolve at a much quicker pace. So you either evolve along with it or you're going to be left behind. And when you're left behind, then you will feel that the world has advanced too much and you don't understand it. And that's when most people feel bitter and they say that, hey, AI is taking my job away. The AI is never taking your job away. AI is making it much easier for you to do your job if you know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, it's going to make it life much harder. So don't resist change. Change is coming, like it or not. So the quicker you adopt, and the quicker you adapt, the better it is for you.
And like what you said, I think more and more employers will start to include this question in their, like, the interview question. Are you using AI? That kind of thing.
Correct.
So if you're not using, then you probably will not be able to get the job. So I think
Correct,
it's really
correct.
important.
Correct. And as a small business, you should use AI because AI allows an output of one person to double or triple. So you don't have to hire so many people. So imagine this. I think last month itself, we have shipped about 50 over countries. We have presence in Malaysia, Singapore, and US. And we are only a team of like 7 people based in Kuala Lumpur. We don't know. Our team has never gone to the States. Our team has never gone to Singapore. Everything is done remotely from our office. So everything can be done online, number one. And with AI, our job is now much quicker and much easier. My staff only work 8 hours a day. They work Monday to Fridays, and they don't work on the weekends. Even though there's like surge in purchases and all, right, everything is handled automatically, either by AI or by all this online process flows. So AI actually makes small businesses more efficient. Now, the guys who have to be afraid of AI are those large corporations, because large corporations employ a lot of people. So there's a possibility that, if they start using AI, a lot of their staffs become redundant. So if you're a small business owner, right, please use AI. It helps you tremendously.
Okay, great. So most DTC brands in Malaysia are only able to sell in Malaysia. What are the strategies to like go global and also sell worldwide? I mean, like, speaking from my experience, having sold to like over 50 countries.
So from day one itself, always plan your product on a global expansion. Don't just solve a local problem. You can solve a global problem. Now, solving a local problem, it's no harm. Now, if you want a small business, and a lot of people I know, a lot of entrepreneurs I know don't want a big business. They want a small business, enough to pay the bills, take time off and have time with the family. Then so be it. Sell within Malaysia itself. It's good enough. You can make a very healthy living from there, very comfortable living. But if you want to plan big, I would say plan global. Means your product itself must suit a global audience. So whether you're in fashion, your fashion must not be geographically based, right? It must cater to people from all around the world. If you're selling anything, any sort of food, it must cater to people all around the world. You're selling electronics, it must cater to people all around the world, not just people in that small geography. And once you build a product that can cater to people around the world, then find a way to get this product to them, service to them, for as cheap as possible. All right, so use sea freight, use the cheapest method to send the product to their countries. And then once you build enough organic traffic, then you can figure out, hey, do I really want an office in that country? And do I want to hire a team specifically for that country? So that allows you to scale much faster. So think global from day one, build your product or service as a global product service from day one itself.
So pricing wise, do you price the same in each country or is it different?
Very good question. So we typically price the products based on US dollars. However, for some countries like Malaysia, we do price it slightly cheaper. Now, you do price it slightly cheaper because the cost of operations in Malaysia is much cheaper. The shipping cost in Malaysia is cheaper as well. So because of that, we can actually dial down our selling price, but not by too much lah. Usually only by like 10% or so. But in most countries, it's actually the same price. That means if you buy from the States or you buy from Singapore, it's actually the same price.
Okay, great. So we're coming to the end of the podcast. So before we go, what are the future plans of Ventamin?
So for this year, our main plan is actually to grow our US market. So currently, our US market is the third largest market for us. We want to grow it to become the largest market for us. So the largest market for Ventamin should be US, not Malaysia anymore. So our goal is to grow that market while maintaining the same growth rate in Malaysia, but to grow the US market aggressively. And next up is also to see what other products that we can produce for the global market. So we already have two in mind. We are doing R&D for those two, but R&D does take time for us. So so our next launch is anywhere between 4 to 6 months. So we only launch 2 products per year. We don't launch too many products. So we want to focus on quality products and launch it all over the world. And our third one is, as I mentioned slightly earlier, to see what AI products that we can incorporate into our business to allow us to be more effective and more efficient, so that we can produce the best quality service and product for the least amount of friction. So yeah, looking forward, 2025. I'm actually really excited.
Okay, great. So thanks, Dr. Lim, for coming onto the show. Check out Ventamin down below, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Bye bye.